Did you know that in the 2020 US election, just 100 people donated nearly half of the total campaign funds? That's right, just 100 individuals had the same political influence as millions of voters. We're often told that politics is about who we vote for, but the reality is far different. Big money is quietly pulling the strings, shaping policies, and determining who gets power. In this video, we're diving into how deep-pocketed elites, powerful corporations, and hidden lobbyists control the political game from the shadows. You'll be shocked to learn how the super-rich are influencing everything from elections to court rulings, and even the laws you live by. How much of your freedom is really up for sale? Stay tuned, because the truth is about to unfold, and it's not what you think. Chapter 1: The Silent Puppeteers. Who really pulls the strings? When we think about politics, we often focus on the leaders we can see, but the real power often lies with those we don't. Behind the scenes, corporate elites, wealthy donors, and powerful lobbyists are silently pulling the strings. They operate through a variety of channels, funding campaigns, influencing media, and even shaping public opinion. In 2018, 100 individuals contributed nearly half of the total political donations in the US. It's clear, the influence of the rich and powerful is far greater than what meets the eye. Lobbyists are especially effective at controlling the political agenda. According to Open Secrets, the lobbyist industry in the US spent over $3.5 billion on lobbying in 2020. These lobbyists have direct access to politicians and, in many cases, shape the laws that end up on the table. What's even more shocking? Many of these lobbyists used to work for the government themselves, meaning they know exactly how to bend the system to their favor. It's not just about money, it's about relationships. For example, the Koch brothers, through their network of political organizations, have become a force in shaping conservative policy. They've spent hundreds of millions to influence elections, but their true power lies in their ability to fund policies that favor their business interests. This is how big money transforms politics into a game where only a few players control the board. Chapter 2: From campaign contributions to courtroom conquests. Money doesn't just buy votes, it buys outcomes. When you make a hefty campaign donation, you're not only helping get your candidate elected. You're essentially securing an audience with that candidate once they're in office. Campaign finance laws, or the lack thereof, allow wealthy individuals and corporations to funnel money into campaigns through super PACs, which can accept unlimited donations. In 2010, the Supreme Court's Citizens United ruling made it clear, money is speech. This decision allowed corporations and unions to spend unlimited amounts on political advertising. While this may seem like a freedom issue, it essentially opened the floodgates to political corruption. Super PACs, like those funded by billionaires such as Sheldon Adelson, have spent millions to sway elections and policies in favor of their own interests. But it doesn't stop there. Big money also controls the legal system. By funding judicial campaigns, donors can influence who gets elected as judges. This is particularly troubling in states where judges are elected rather than appointed. A study by the Brennan Center found that, between 2000 and 2017, special interests spent over $200 million to elect judges in key swing states. This leads to a situation where big money influences not just who makes the laws, but how they're interpreted. Chapter 3: The Billionaire's Playground. How big money fuels political theater. Ever wondered why some political issues get so much media attention, while others don't? It's no accident. Billionaire-funded think tanks and political action committees, PACs, are often the ones setting the agenda. These groups can fund research, promote specific ideas, and push narratives that benefit their interests. The Heritage Foundation and the Cato Institute, for instance, are known for pushing conservative ideologies that favor tax cuts and deregulation, policies that often align with their wealthy donors' interests. In many cases, these think tanks help create policy solutions that seem neutral but are actually designed to benefit big businesses. The American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC, is one example. ALEC drafts model legislation that gets pushed into state legislatures, often with little scrutiny. These bills typically align with the interests of corporations, from lowering taxes for the wealthy to weakening environmental regulations. It's the perfect system. Wealthy corporations fund the creation of laws that allow them to maximize their profits. If you're finding this information eye-opening, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our future videos exploring how money shapes politics. Chapter 4: Election Cycle or Money Cycle. Decoding the cash-driven campaign. Every election cycle feels like a new opportunity for change, but the true question is, who stands to gain? Campaign spending has skyrocketed over the past few decades. In the 2020 election alone, total spending reached a staggering $14 billion. But it's not just about getting your candidate elected, it's about gaining access. Wealthy donors don't just want their candidate to win, they want a seat at the table afterward. A report by the Center for Responsive Politics shows that just 158 families contributed nearly half of all the money raised in the 2016 presidential race. This means that a small group of individuals have far more influence over elections than the millions of voters casting their ballots. The top contributors often have their own agendas. These donors fund candidates who promise to enact policies that benefit their businesses, like deregulating industries or cutting taxes for the wealthy. What's the result? A system where elections are determined by who can spend the most, not by who has the best policies. The voices of average voters get drowned out by the flood of campaign contributions from the rich. In fact, a 2014 study by the American Political Science Review found that policy preferences of the wealthy are far more likely to be enacted than those of the general public. Chapter 5, Pay to Play, the high cost of influence in Washington. Ever hear of the term, pay to play? It's the system where political favors come at a price. For years, wealthy individuals and corporations have used campaign donations as a way to gain access to elected officials, influencing decisions and legislation in their favor. One of the clearest examples of this can be seen in the revolving door between business and politics. Take the case of former Goldman Sachs executives who've moved into key government positions. Many of them continue to advocate for policies that benefit Wall Street. In fact, a study by the Institute for Policy Studies revealed that 56% of former members of Congress become lobbyists or work for industries they previously regulated. This creates a situation where politicians are heavily influenced by the industries they are supposed to regulate. But pay to play also extends beyond the corporate world. Even foreign governments use money to influence US politics. The Foreign Agents Registration Act requires foreign agents to disclose their activities, but there are loopholes that allow foreign interests to funnel money into US politics through indirect means, like through lobbying groups or PACs. Chapter 6, The Political Machine, Big Money's Grip on Policy and Power. The term, political machine, often brings to mind images of old-school corruption, but in today's world, it's a modern, well-oiled system where money drives policy decisions. These machines are fueled by the donations from wealthy individuals and corporations, and they operate through a mix of campaign contributions, lobbying, and media influence. It's not just about getting your candidate elected, it's about making sure the policies align with your financial interests. For example, in 2017, the Trump administration rolled back key environmental regulations, which benefited fossil fuel companies and coal magnates. These changes came as a result of lobbying from major oil companies, who donated millions to the Republican Party. This is just one instance of how big money shapes the policies that impact ordinary people's lives. This political machine is so ingrained that it can often feel impossible to fight. The wealthiest Americans have an extraordinary ability to shape policy. In fact, a study from Princeton and Northwestern universities found that American politics functions more like an oligarchy than a democracy, with the preferences of the wealthy dominating over the general public. The result is a system where big money calls the shots, and the average person has little say in the policies that affect them most. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss our future content on the ways money impacts politics. Together, we can make a difference by staying informed.